Howdy, howdy do, Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And welcome to episode 238.
Yes, indeed.
One day, I shall come back. Yes, I shall come back. Until then, there must be no regrets, no tears, no anxieties. Just go forward in all your beliefs and prove to me that I am not mistaken in mine.
Our lives are different to anybody else's. That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
You may be a doctor, but I'm the doctor. The definite article, you might say.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems on a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
For now, for this moment, I am the Doctor again.
The ground beneath our feet is spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and the entire planet is circling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour, and I can feel it. We're falling through space, you and me.
People assume that time is a strict progression of cause to effect, but actually, from a non-linear, non-subjective viewpoint, it's more like a big ball of wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
I could be a curator. I'd be great at curating. I'd be the great curator. I could retire and do that.
I'm the Doctor. I've lived for over 2,000 years, and not all of them were good. I've made many mistakes, and it's about time that I did something about that.
Bit of adrenaline, dash of outrage, and a hint of panic knitted my brain back together. I know exactly who I am. I'm the Doctor. Sorting out fair play throughout the universe.
Howdy, howdy do, Who fans. Hope you've all had a cracking week and that you've all managed to do something Doctor Who related.
Related, yes indeed.
Yes, indeedy. Welcome to 238. Hope you've all been keeping well. Coming up in today's show, we have very light on news, but we have got some interesting merch to talk about. And then we're on to our review of the 10th Doctor two-parter, Human Nature and the Family of Blood, which is one that I've been looking forward to us doing for ages because we've mentioned it quite a few times on the show, but we haven't been able to talk in detail because we haven't reviewed it yet.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good. It's going to be very good.
It is going to be good. I've made loads of notes for this one as well. It's strange. Some stories, I forget which one it was. We did it a couple of weeks ago and I had about 4 notes on there and I was like, I started getting worried I'm not going to have enough to talk about. But then normally when we get into chatting, your sort of mind throws up other stuff. But this one is almost the opposite. I've got like 1 billion notes. Most of them I can't read, so my writing's terrible. I sort of scribble when I'm watching it, you know what I mean? I sort of scribble it to the side, and then normally I can't even read my notes.
The hieroglyphics. Yeah,
whereas I think you've got yours on, you actually put yours on a computer in front of you, don't you?
I do, yes.
Yeah, whereas I'm a bit old school. I've just got a pad and paper.
I don't know how to write anymore. I've been using a computer for my job for so many years.
Yeah.
I just type everything. If I had to write something down now, it would be like a small child had written it down.
I'm trying to think, how do I know that? You must have posted a picture or something of you, because I remember seeing the screen of your sort of list of notes one time. Yeah.
What, in a pad?
No, on the screen.
I was going to say, on the screen.
I was trying to think, how do I know that you've done that? But I must have seen a picture, yeah. Probably when you posted on Instagram your whole setup of all your recording and stuff.
Oh, yeah, it would have been then, yeah.
Yeah, probably that, yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Because I'm looking at the screen when we're recording, because Adam and I do this over Skype and video and whatnot. It just makes sense for me to have it there, like at eye level.
Yeah.
And also my memory's shocking, so I need it there to prompt me to talk about stuff.
Yeah.
Before we get cracking with the show, remember to check us out on any podcast app that you happen to listen to. Give us a subscribe and a like on there so you don't miss a show when they land on a Friday. And also check us out on all the social stuffs. We chat plenty of Doctor Who throughout the week. And apologies that we're recording slightly late this week. Normally you guys would have had this week's show hours ago when you woke up for your commute or your morning coffee, whatever. But yeah, Adam and I, like I said on last week's show, we're sort of having to shift things around a wee bit as we're working and whatnot. So yeah, you get to enjoy us in the afternoon instead of the morning.
This is strange. So we're actually recording on the Friday morning, and then this will sort of be hot off the press, wouldn't it? Rather than being in the can waiting to be released, this will be like recorded and pretty much go straight out. So you're getting hot, which is a shame that we haven't got any sort of last minute news. Because do you remember, like we've had a few times now when we've recorded, on a Wednesday, which used to be our regular record day, and then the very next day they'd like announce some big, bit of news, and we'd be like, oh no, oh damn, just missed that one. And but no juicy news really this week for us to throw in there. We got a little bit, but
no, it's too quiet at the moment, and I'm surprised that we haven't got more news this week because it's San Diego Comic-Con week. And we have got a couple of bits around that theme to talk about in the news and merch, but we haven't seen any. Oh, there's no panels this year, that's for sure. So there's no Jodie and Chibbers and all that lot. There's no panel for Doctor Who. They're very, very quiet on the Who front this year.
That's a good point, actually. So was it this time last year that Jodie and that were all doing that panel launching Series 11? But there's nothing at all this year?
No, nothing at all.
Wow. Because I know that my uncle is there at the minute. He texted me last night and was like sending me all these pictures of the BBC shop and was like, do you want any of this Doctor Who merch? And it was, funny enough, a lot of it was stuff you'd put in that tweet that we were like, oh dear. But there was a couple of bits. I was like, oh, you could look out for these for me if you see them. But yeah, I hadn't sort of put it together in my head that was the same event, if you know what I mean, which of course seems obvious now you mention it. But yeah, so sometimes they would get an exclusive trailer or something, but nothing
at all, buddy. I mean,
the hype train is like
come to a stop. I mean, we could get a trailer. I'm not saying that nothing's going to happen because it is going on until Sunday, so we could do by the end of the weekend they could surprise us with a wee trailer or something, a nice little surprise, but it's looking a bit bleak at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a big event as well. You'd have thought they'd put something in it, even if it was just a new promo or something. Well, like you said, we might still get something by Sunday. Probably as soon as we finish recording.
There'll be a YouTube video land of like a big trailer from Series 12.
Yeah.
Oh dear. What's going on? I would have thought the BBC would have pushed, seeing as we've gone we would have gone a long time between when Series 11 finished and when we're going to get Series 12 next year. It's a big old gap. You would have thought they would have filled it with something, even if it's a little taster of something. But alas, nothing from the Beeb.
Come on, Chibbers, for goodness sake.
Come on, Chibs. Come on.
Chibs, yeah.
Oh, Chibs. How have you been, buddy? Last week, sorry. How have you? Anything Who related?
Yeah, a little bit. So talking of conventions, I have finally booked my SDCC tickets. Been sort of umming and ahhing for ages this time what days to go, because I'll be honest, and we've spoke about this ourselves, the Who-wise, the guests haven't been that great this year compared to the phenomenal last year when they got all the Doctors and loads of guests from Doctor Who. This year, maybe that's why. Maybe they thought, no, we did that last year, this year we're going to try something else, so which is fair enough. But yeah, the guests haven't really been grabbing me much this year, to be fair. But I finally bought my ticket, so I'm going on Saturday and Sunday, because at one point I was just like, I'm not going to go at all. I wasn't going to bother with it, was I? But I'm going to go and meet Jenna Coleman. Yeah, I'm going to go meet Jenna because because I need to replace that bad memory of her with a good memory, hopefully.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm going to do that. And there is a couple of other people. I mean, I want to meet William Shatner because I do love the original series of Star Trek. So, and he's getting on a bit actually. Someone reminded me actually he's like 88, I think. I was like, no,
crikey,
can't
really?
be, but I think he is. Yeah, I think he's getting on a bit. So yeah, there is a couple of people, and I'm trying to think who else I've got on my list. Actually, there is a couple of other Who guests. So anyway, I've booked that. I am definitely going to LSCC now. That's a definite. And it feels quite good to finally book a ticket. And I'm sure there'll be people we know there. The meetup will be good, and hopefully it'll be a good weekend. Probably, hopefully less stressful than last year when we were running around like headless chickens trying to get all the shoots done, because it was pretty full on last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be. I think if I rewind time, I think Saturday was sold out way before this point last year.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think Saturday was sold out, I think about 4 or 5 weeks prior to last year's event.
Yeah.
And it's still not sold out now, and it's only, a week away.
Yeah, and they had every living Doctor, didn't they? Apart from McCoy, because he cancelled, and obviously Jodie, but they had all the living Doctors there as well, which was quite something actually to get every single one. So yeah, it was pretty mad last year. It was good, but it was mad. I'm still slightly irked, about the whole Tennant situation, because he was announced on the day, wasn't he? It was a real talk about last minute announcement. And I'm still kind of irked I missed out on that. And I see he's just been announced for Wales Comic Con. So it's good to see him doing more cons. So David's been added to that. Catherine Tate and Matt Smith. They're all doing Wales Comic Con this year. So it seems that they've got a few good Who guests. I've never done Wales Comic Con. I heard last year the organisation was a bit of a shambles, like people queuing out in the rain and for their photo shoots and being dripping wet in the photos and stuff, which didn't sound good. But I've never done one of their events, so I'm not, I can't comment personally. But yeah, it's tempting because David's there, and I do need to tick him off my list. I think he's the only living Doctor I haven't met. So
yeah, you need to do him then, bud.
I need to do him, but yeah, I don't know. But you were saying you're considering doing the Wales Comic Con, aren't you? Because it's easier for you to get to.
Yeah, now I'm further up north in the UK. It's in Telford, I think, which is sort of 20 minutes north of Birmingham-ish. So that's not too far from us. It's under an hour's drive, I think. So yeah, that'd be good because I'd love to meet Catherine Tate. Should be a great one to meet and.
I would recommend meeting her. I had a great experience meeting Catherine Tate. A few years ago, I met her. I went to see her in a play, and I waited at the stage door to meet her, and she was really, really lovely to me. I had a very good experience with her. And a friend of mine told me that I think a couple of years ago she was at what they called MCM, I think it was.
That's right.
And there was a big sign up above her thing saying no selfies, and apparently she grabbed it and ripped it up. And said something like, "You can forget that. Anyone can get a picture if they want," or something. So, I do have a lot of time for Catherine. I think she's really cool. So yeah, I definitely recommend meeting her if you can.
Okay, yeah, I will do that. I think it's not till December, is it? So,
did you meet Matt last year? I can't remember.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh yeah, well him as well. Yeah, because we both love Matt's Doctor, don't we?
Yeah. No, it should be good, that one. And I think there's a couple of Star Wars people there as well, so that'll be good.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure on the venue. I haven't had anyone say good or bad about it. So who knows? Who knows?
One's killed him about it. So apart from that, mate, the only other thing I've been doing is working my way through the Series 10 box set, which has been really good. But really enjoying the behind the sofas. They've been really good fun. I've still got a couple to watch and trying not to. I don't want to finish it. It's really weird, isn't it? I love those sets so much. I hate it when I get to the end of one. I'm like, no, I've watched it all, and you sort of wait for the next set. So yeah, I've been watching those and they're really good. Has yours arrived yet? Because I know yours has sort of went to your old address, and are you still waiting for it?
Yes, I am still waiting for it. So I think
blimmin' postman.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's something awry has happened with that because I'm not quite sure. Because when I moved house, we put on a redirect, which is essentially anything that's sent via the post or with Royal Mail. It gets, obviously, as the name suggests, it gets redirected to your new address. And when I spoke to Zoom, they said that they do dispatch things via Royal Mail. However, it still hasn't arrived here. And it normally, with their redirect service, stuff normally takes about a day, maybe 2 days to arrive. So it's definitely not there. So all may not be lost. I've dispatched the in-laws to my old address because they live in the same town to go and knock on the door and say, "Have you got any parcels by any chance from the previous owners?"
They'll be sat up there with their feet up watching the frontier in space. So we wondered what it was.
Yeah. So so that's the last hope, so to speak. So if they can say, actually, yeah, we have got a bunch of parcels. Actually, you can get rid of them because they're taking up a load of room. Then I will. And I'm seeing the in-laws in a couple of weeks. So. hopefully they'll be able to retrieve it and I'll have it. But
I hope so. Yeah, hopefully, because you want to get that. Yeah.
Fortunately, the BBC made or have started to make plenty of these box sets now based on the outcry for more from the first 2 sets. So I know it's going to be a wallet buster and it's going to cripple me, but cripple my my sort of OCD, knowing that there is one of my sets out in the wild somewhere. I'll have to reorder it, I suppose.
Well, you can get a replacement, can't you? If it doesn't,
that's what I mean. You can order it. They're still in stock, I believe. So.
Yeah, this one's still in stock. I noticed that I think it's season 19 is sold out though. The Davison one, because I think it's about 100 and something quid on thing now on Amazon now. Yeah. So they are. Yeah, they've obviously done more because obviously season 12. They obviously that was the first one, and they probably just tested the water a bit, and they massively underestimated the demand, didn't they? Mm-hmm. So they must have made more of these next few sets. But it seems like they've gauged it about right, because I think if season 19's just sold out, and they are supposed to be limited editions, not that there's any really such thing these days, but yeah, for that to sell out about now, I mean, that's been out a while. That seems to me that they've got that about right then. I would imagine anyone that wanted that's hopefully managed to pick it up. So
yeah, we'll see. Yeah.
I'm not sure about season 18. I think that's still in stock. I'm not sure.
It is actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it a couple of weeks when I see the in-laws. If they've managed to get it, then great. If not, I'll have to pony up and reorder. Yes,
it's probably there. Yeah,
yeah.
Just because you moved, it was that exact weekend as well, wasn't it, when you were moving? So it's probably there. Yeah. Yes. Along with all the bills.
Along with you can leave all those there.
We got your box set. And a load of bills. Yeah, you can keep them.
Other than pining for the box set, I haven't done any other things Who related. To be honest with you, mate, I've just been. I've still had no broadband. Yesterday was the first day we had broadband installed, so I can jump back onto Netflix or Amazon Prime, whatever, because all of Who's on Netflix, well, modern Who anyway, so I can casually flick for any of that and crack on with the new Stranger Things as well. Be looking forward to that.
I've just got started on that as well. I was a bit late to the party because I don't have Netflix, but I signed up to the free trial, which I've done about 4 times now, and I've just started Stranger Things. I'm on episode 5 now, and I'm enjoying that. I'll tell you what I am looking forward to. I'm hearing good things about the Big Finish release, Legacy of Time.
Oh, yes.
You know this celebration story that they've done. Is it 25 years or what is it? No, it must be more than that.
20 years.
20 years. Oh, okay. I'm hearing good things because I was a bit worried because they've got just about everybody in it, haven't they? They've got all the sort of doctors, loads of previous companions, Rivers. They've like everything in the kitchen sink. And I thought, is this going to just be a bit of a sort of cash in? You know, is this going to work? But I'm hearing really good things. Apparently, it's very good, and it looks like a really nice set. And so, because I've got to move out of my house for a couple of weeks next week. This is perfect because I've spoken about this before on the podcast. I am finding it difficult to find time to listen to a lot of the Big Finish because I still buy a lot of their releases, you know, and they arrive and I'm like, oh, great, you know, this has arrived and it goes on the shelf and I look at it and think, oh, yeah, I must download that and listen to it later. And, you know, and then the weeks fly by. But because I've got this time coming up where I have got to move out for a couple of weeks into a good old travel lodge, I'm thinking, right, I might actually get time to listen to this. So I'm going to, apparently it's a huge download file. I know people said it took ages to download. So I'm going to make sure I download that next week, ready for when I move out. And it's going to be there, you know, ready to listen to. So I'm hoping that's the plan. Whether it works out or not, I don't know. But I am quite looking forward to listening to that now after what I've heard. Apparently there's something really nice at the end. And people are like, oh, I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to ruin it for everyone, but I want to hear that before it gets ruined, whatever it is.
I thought they were releasing a special edition of this set.
It's like a bookcase thing, isn't it? Like a nice...
Okay.
Mine hasn't arrived yet, but apparently the download file's been released. But there's a special edition like in, you know, like the book series they do. Yeah. But apparently this is like a tool book because I'm not sure how many discs it is, but I think it's quite a few. Might be 8, is it?
8, yeah.
8, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can see the picture of it now. Yeah. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm waiting for the physical thing to to drop through the letterbox, and but I'm going to download it. You get the free download with Big Finish, so which I really like. I hope they never stop doing that, because they're pricey. I mean, they are a bit pricey, Big Finish, aren't they? But because they offer the free download if you buy the CD from them, I think that's a nice thing. It kind of encourages me to buy it from them. So I hope they don't ever stop that, because not because I like to order directly from them.
No, of course.
Yeah. So looking forward to digging into that, hopefully next week.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Rightio. I think we should land the old girl.
Yeah.
Do some news.
All right.
San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego. We've already spoken about that, and we have some exclusive stuff. First bit obviously isn't merch. It's more of a cool thing that they've commissioned an artist to do for San Diego Comic-Con. And apparently this is the first time that all of the Doctors in existence have been commissioned to be done as portraits by one single artist in one go.
Really?
Apparently, yes.
Wow, okay.
So I'm not sure if that's BBC worldwide have said that, because I'm pretty sure that we've seen... Wasn't that? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've seen a collection of artists, of Doctor Who artwork that has been done by one artist, or at least two before.
I was going to say, that seems a bit of a strange statement. Do you remember when they updated wasn't it Doctor Who TV website? Is it called Doctor Who TV? Then they did like those lovely, it was either Lee Binding or Tom Webster or someone like that.
Lee Binding, yeah.
Lee Binding. Do you remember those beautiful, I mean, he did all the Doctors, didn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, so at San Diego Comic-Con, there are brand new portraits of all 13, scratch that, 14, because including the War Doctor, right through from the first all the way to Jodie, illustrated by Jeremy Enecio. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And the unique designs, they feature a personality from each Doctor. So essentially like their exact pose, their costume, and their facial expression and so on. And yes, apparently it's the first time that all Doctors have been commissioned, by one artist. So I think that might just be a BBC America-ish thing, not necessarily a BBC UK or anything like that. But what do you reckon to these portraits then? I'll be honest with you, they're not really blowing me away. I mean, don't get me wrong, the likenesses are bang on. They're great in terms of the likeness. You can't mistake them. Apart from McCoy, I think McCoy looks a little bit off to me. But for the most part, they look very, very good. But put it this way, I didn't immediately think, the other thing to mention is that it doesn't say anywhere whether these are going to be on sale at Comic-Con. It just says that they're going to be on display as a kind of a little mini gallery, I suppose. But if they were on display, I didn't look at these immediately and think, oh man, I've got to order these. These are amazing.
As a collage, I think, it looks quite nice, but in closer inspection, I'm not overly enthralled with it, if I'm honest. I mean, it does, as I said, if you just look at it as a whole, it's very colourful, and it does look really nice, but there are, I mean, some of the likenesses, some of the Doctors just a little bit weird, and this is a thing nowadays. I mean, Big Finish started doing a bit of this with some of their photos. They sort of what do you call it? They take out a lot of the features on the face to make them look almost, almost this perfectionist thing that we have in our society now. Do you know what I mean? It's like they remove all the wrinkles. Do you remember when they did it to David Bradley and and Caroline Ford? So they removed their wrinkles and made them look about 20 to 30 years old, and it just looks weird. And so some of these I think look great, and I think others don't look so good. So I'm look at Colin Baker, mate. Mm-hmm. What has happened there? Yeah, because that really doesn't even look like Colin facially. They've just gone too mad with that one. Sylve, I can see what you mean, looks a bit weird. I don't like the fact the third Doctor's holding the Sonic in his left hand, and so is the second Doctor with his flute. I mean, it's obviously a flipped image, and I don't know. It's just not. Oh, I don't know. It looks nice from a distance, but when close inspection, I'm not particularly enamored with it personally. I think some look great though. I mean, I think the first Doctor looks really good, for example. The War Doctor just looks, again, they've removed all his wrinkles, isn't he? I mean, that's the thing with the War Doctor. He's supposed to look haggard. And they've sort of made him look about 10 years younger, haven't they? They're giving him a facelift and things like that, just, it doesn't 100% work for me. But yeah, I like it as a sort of collage, if that makes sense. If it was on the wall and stuff, I'd think, oh, that's quite nice because it's very colourful. But I don't know. Peter looks all right. Peter looks quite good. Peter Davison, I should say, yeah.
Davison, yeah. I mean, some of them looked exact. You would mistake them for photographs. So David Tennant, William
Tennant's
Hartnell,
good.
Matt Smith, and
Eccleston
and Capaldi. And the other ones, they're kind of there, but they're not quite on some of them. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good representation for Doctor Who at Comic-Con, at least. If we're not going to have any panels or big stuff going on, then it's good to have something there for people to look at and Doctor Who to be sort of in your mind, if you like, as you're going around. But I'm not going to, if they do come up for sale, I'm not going to jump up and order these, but fairly good nonetheless.
I was going to say, it's colourful and it would catch your eye, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So in that sense, it's all right, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And that literally is the only bit of news we have. Very light as usual, as to be expected. But we have got some cool merch to talk through. So shall we get old Grumpy in?
Yeah. Go on then.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Well, there you are, young man. What do you think of that now, a Viking helmet?
I know, it's on the telly. It's everywhere.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
I work in a shop now. It'd help.
While we're on the subject of San Diego Comic-Con, why don't we talk about the little bits of merch that are on sale, which are exclusive to the Comic-Con?
I saw your tweet about these earlier in the week.
Yes. So we have a number of items. I think there's about 10 in total. Little bits that you can pick up. Like I said, these are exclusive to San Diego. And I'm going to reel through a few of these. So we have, as expected, a Funko Pop. And this one this year is the Pating. So that's off the list already. Then we have a couple of bits from Titan. So we've got the little 3-inch 13th Doctor from Titan, which it's the same sculpt that they used previously, which looks like a man. So that's off the list. They've also got the 3-inch Doctor with the materializing TARDIS in the Kawaii version. And yeah, for me anyway, I know you like them, but for me, that's off the list. Then we've got a TARDIS team hoodie in the Kawaii style. That's off the list. Then they've got the Team TARDIS Kawaii mug. That's off the list. Then they've got the Kawaii Jodie 13th Doctor with, on the back, it's got the logo and it says San Diego with a couple of hearts. That's off the list. Then we've got the TARDIS noodle bowl with chopsticks.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I think that's the only one I haven't seen a picture of, actually.
Actually, to be fair, that one does look pretty good.
Where is the picture? Where can I see this?
There's a link. So on the page.
I see the link. Let me click on this. So I want to see this bowl.
Yeah. So further down, it's actually quite nice. It's a white bowl and it's got sort of the TARDIS as a pattern that goes round it. And it's got a cool little thumb hole as well and a little chopstick holder for you to put your thing in. So I would actually have that because I use chopsticks quite a lot. So I would have that. It's pretty cool. Then we have the 13th Doctor and TARDIS enamel pin set. And it's the Pating. And also, is there another one or is it just the Pating? I think it's just the Pating. Yeah, so that's off the list. Then we have the... Oh no, there is a Doctor and TARDIS enamel pin set as well, but I can't see that anywhere. But yeah, the Pating version, that's off the list. It looks ridiculous. Oh, the little pin. There we go. Yeah.
I'd love to see you wearing that pin badge. That would crack me up.
Crikey. And then we have the 13th Doctor costume wallet and the little 13th Doctor little rucksack, which looks off the list. And then we have the Dalek/Angel crystal carvings. And they actually look okay. But they look okay. They look pretty good.
Sadly, because I'm recording in our office today, my internet's really slow. The pictures are taking forever to load. I can see the bowl. Yeah, I agree. That one's not too bad. Yeah, not too bad. The crystal carvings ones, I like the look of the angel. I've got to admit, that looks cool on its round base. I do like the look of that. Yeah, the one that I really can't stand, I hate these things, is that, I don't know is it a plushy thing? Like a sort of TARDIS plushy thing with an enamel badge. Absolutely hideous. Yeah. Yeah. I've got a feeling my uncle might have bought one. Hope he doesn't listen to the podcast. So I remember he sent me the pictures of what he'd bought, and I was thinking, you didn't buy that, did you? But yeah, I don't think he listens anyway.
Oh dear.
He might do. The kawaii one, mate, I must admit, that's probably the only one I would have. The little kawaii figure with the materializing TARDIS. It's the only one I kind of like to look at, because I do like those Titans, did you know? But I hear, these things used to, after the Comic-Con had finished, they used to sort of find their way over to the UK. So they used to be able to get them from like Forbidden Planet. I'm hearing that that's not the case anymore. I'm not quite sure what the reason is. So like, I think the Pating might have gone to Pop in a Box. They might be getting some, possibly. Right. But the Titans, I think they're solely an American company now or something. So whereas I might have picked these up from FP when they made their way over the pond, I hear that's not going to happen this year. So not a problem for you, because I know you're not bothered about them. But I would have liked to have got them, but apparently not. But my uncle's over there, so I am telling him to look out for them.
Some other stuff.
I would have got a Pating.
You would have got a Pating, yeah. Okay.
No, Pating badge.
The Pating badge, right.
Just I just find it hilarious. Just to have worn, so you could have been like, what the? I'd have put it on the back, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, they do. To be fair, they have got quite a few merch items on sale there this year. Not all of it is exclusive. Most of it is. Some other bits that might float anyone's boat. You've got the blue sort of TARDIS plasticky tumbler style drinks thing. Looks dreadful.
I don't like that.
We've got the rainbow fleece sweatshop thing. That's a BBC Shop exclusive. Looks dreadful. The matching police box pants, or as we call them, jogging bottoms here. Looks absolutely awful. What else have we got? We've got a purse, if any ladies that want a purse to match the little rucksack. That's doing the rounds. We've got a load of mugs. There's a pretty cool mug that looks like a rainbow chromey effect. That looks quite cool. Iridescent logo mug. That looks very cool. Might pick that up.
Oh, I see that. Yeah, that actually looks all right. Yeah.
Yeah, then we got some companion figures, which look like the Eagle Moss stuff. We've got some Pez dispensers. We've got a little TARDIS puff keychain, which looks like... to be honest with you, mate, a load of stuff looks like stuff you'd pick up at a car boot sale.
I've got to admit, the merch is definitely it's sort of gone down a style, and see, as much as and it's not in a good way, because it's starting to look very generic and cheap and kiddie, and which is fine if we had something to balance it out, but it all seems to be going in that style, doesn't it? And as much as I like the Titans and even the kawaii ones, I like, they seem to have gone overboard with it. So all the t-shirts and hoodies and they're all the kawaii pictures, aren't they, pretty much? And so if you don't like kawaii, where's the rest of the tees? Do you know what I mean? Where's the sort of normal standard Doctor Who t-shirts? Why is it all kawaii stuff? Because even someone like myself, which I don't mind the odd kawaii figure, but where's all the other stuff? Why is it all kawaii? It's all a bit OTT, I think.
Yes. Yeah. And one of the mugs that you can buy is the it just says brilliant around it, and it's in bright, colourful things. A lot of it is rainbow focus as well. I think that might be a Pride sort of link up. It looks like anyway. A lot of it is.
There's a lot of rainbow. Oh yeah, there's a top, isn't there, of TARDIS rainbow thing. I mean, that's the sort of top I quite like it, but I wouldn't be able to pull it off. It would look terrible on me, but on someone else that'd probably look quite good.
Yeah.
I must admit, I wouldn't mind the Bating Funko Pop. I know you would hate it, but I wouldn't mind grabbing one of them. Not that I like the episode, I didn't, but I think he kind of looks cute as a Funko. It almost feels like that's what he was designed for. Do you know what I mean? When they were designing it, they were thinking, yeah, this is going to make a great toy. They're going to snap these up. He does make a cool toy, I think, so I wouldn't mind one of him. But
yeah, and then they've got some stuff that's been out for years that they're sort of peddling as sort of new exclusive stuff.
The Missy Chronicles,
Myths and Legends, and the 13th Doctor Sonic, which has been out for a year and a half now at least, and the little pop TARDIS keychain thing that's been out for around 6 years, I believe. It's in the old packaging as well, and then some socks and slippers as well. So
they've only just loaded. Oh, those socks! Now you love a pair of slippers.
I do, but not these. They look bloody awful.
They do. I remember you buying your TARDIS slippers at where was that you got them? Was that the 50th or the Celebrations Doctor Who event? Do you remember, was that where you got your slippers?
That was the Doctor
Who TARDIS slippers.
What was it called? The event that the actual BBC did. What was it called? It was the festival, Doctor Who Festival.
Oh, festival, yeah.
Yeah, they were cool. They were like just normal TARDIS style. They're very comfortable. These ones have got that rainbow thing, like not the rainbow, but the 13th Doctor's coloured stripes across her top with that. But it's got a strange colour on the inside. They're a nice dark blue, but then on the inside and the bit that fluffs out from the ankle, it's like this bright sort of turquoisey colour. It's very bizarre. Yeah. So I'm definitely not blown away at all, mate, by 98% of the merch that's on sale at Comic-Con. If I was going over there for, I'll tell you what, mate, if I was going over there for a Doctor Who themed event, I'd be very disappointed because there's no panels, no exclusive trailers, nothing, and the merch is awful. I'd be really annoyed.
Yeah, I must admit, there's nothing... most of this is, well, I would say 99% is all geared towards the new series, which I suppose to an extent you would understand, but there's not much here for the sort of classic fans, is there? Like I said, just a load of old stuff they found in the back of the van. Oh, we've still got a box of Missy Chronicle. You know what I mean? There's not much classic. Do you know what I mean? It's as if it's as if that doesn't exist. It's like, no, it's a new show. It's a new start. It's all new merch, isn't it? Which, I know why they do it, but I just think you could throw something in there with, like, that poster of all the Doctors. If you bung that on a T-shirt, I'd probably buy one. You know what I mean? Because it's got all the Doctors on it. Yeah. I know we were saying a bit critical about the artwork, but if it was on a tee, it'd probably look really nice. So why haven't they done that? It's just this. I can't see any other Doctor apart from 13 on any of this merch, which, I just feel there should be something.
I read you, but it's just not good. I mean, some people might love it, and fair play, but not for us. I don't think
it's not floating your boat. No. Right. Well, let's move on to some other things then. And again, this is one for our US listeners. So there's a new Blu-ray set coming out called The Complete David Tennant, to be released on September the 17th. Don't have a lot of information about what's on this, but we assume it's all the David Tennant episodes, possibly the cartoons, the animations they did. I don't know. The ones that they've put on the new Steelbook. I got a feeling they might include these on the set just to make it a little bit different. It's currently up for pre-order for $71.69. And artwork's quite nice. It's pretty simple. It's just a moody picture of the 10th Doctor with his long flowing coat in front of a big old planet and loads of debris around him, and it looks quite nice. But apart from that, I can't really give you much more information on it. I mean, if there's any Doctor Who fans out there that don't already own these, I suppose it's a nice little pickup. Bit pricey though, that actually. So that works out about 55-60 quid for it's a bit pricey, isn't it?
Yeah, I think at the moment, if we do let me do a currency conversion just for the moment. So what is it? 60? How many dollars is it? 71.
71, yeah. Just while you're doing that as well, I made a mistake. So if you click on the link on Amazon. There's 190 reviews. Now, I was reading the reviews until Gary pointed out this was a pre-release. He's like, well, there can't be reviews yet because it hasn't been released. And I was like, oh, yeah. So all the reviews on there are for the DVD set that came out a few years ago, isn't it? Which is like the book style.
11, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, is it that long ago? God, blimey. Because it was quite a nice looking set, actually, that.
Very nice, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem with it was that it looked nice, but the design wasn't very good because you couldn't actually get the blimmin' discs out of the packaging without wrecking them, and sometimes you couldn't even get them out because they were just literally jammed inside it. So it was a lovely looking set, really nicely laid out, lovely artwork, but yeah, not very practical. So all the reviews on there are actually for that. Just to let you know, it's a little misleading, but this new Blu-ray set, we don't really know much apart from the artwork cover that it's got on there, but whether it'll have nice packaging inside or whatever, not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on this one, mate. If I'm being honest, I much prefer the old DVD set that they brought. It would have been amazing to keep that design, but just replace the DVDs with Blu-ray discs. That would have been amazing because any of our listeners who are familiar with some of the very special seasons that they've, complete sets that they've brought out. We're not talking about the remastered Blu-ray sets that have been coming out recently from the classic years. But if you cast your mind back, there's been a few releases. They're in this like landscape, like quite a wide landscape, coffee table book style. And then the discs kind of slot in there. Anyone that remembers, I think it was last year or the year before, I banged on about the Sylvester McCoy set that this company brought out. I banged on about it for about 6 episodes. It's that sort of style. And they did another one, didn't they? The Capaldi, the Complete Capaldi, yeah. So they did a Tennant one, like I said, back in 2011. And it's really cool. It's got the old RTD era logo on there and a much better pose of David Tennant. And it's got a nice kind of see-through sleeve that slides off, and then you've got the book that comes out of the case and stuff. It's a really, really nice set. So the Blu-ray set that we're talking about, it's a much more trimmed down, very compact little set. It's almost the same size as these new remaster box sets that are coming out from Classic Who. I really like the image on the front. This is a new image that the BBC Studios have put together for some recent Tennant thing. Was it last week or the week before we spoke about David Tennant's last 2 episodes are going to be in the cinema in the US. They've used this image on all the posters and all that stuff. So it's a really nice image that they've put together. But for me, I'm a bit of a purist, as you guys know, with Who. It just looks better to me with the older RTD logo on for any of the Tennant stuff, and Eccleston and stuff. So, yeah, I can't really quadruple dip and buy Tennant stuff again in another format. I've already got it 3 times, so I won't be getting this set. But I don't even know if it's going to come out in the UK at all. But if you are in the US and you haven't collected all of Tennant's stuff yet, this could be the set for you.
It could be. And the only other thing I can tell you about it is I've just noticed it does say on the packaging it's a 14-disc set, so that might give us some indication of what's on it. But there you are. Yeah. David Tennant Complete Collection, September. It's out, 17th.
The old DVD set was 26 discs.
Was it?
Yeah. That's a lovely book. Anyone that's not... Yeah, we'll put a link in the show notes, and it will take you off to the US Amazon site. And then there's 2 buttons that says Blu-ray, and then the other one says DVD. If you click on the DVD one, you can see some images of it. And if you click on the second image, you can see just how cool, like the book that came with it and the design and stuff. It does look very, very nice. So it was nice. Yeah, it's a shame they couldn't just replicate that and then just replace with Blu-rays, but there we go. Anyways, moving on. We have some Donna Noble / Catherine Tate news. She's coming back to Big Finish as a solo. She's not a companion anymore in this respect. She's doing her own thing. So next year, I think it's going to be sometime. Yeah, so May 2020. There's going to be a proper solo Donna Noble story.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a 4-part story, and it's going to feature, obviously, Catherine Tate, and it's also going to star Jacqueline King. We know who Jacqueline King is.
Sir Mum.
Sir Mum, indeed. So, what do you reckon, buddy? Because we obviously love Catherine Tate being back in some of the David Tennant Big Finish stories that we've had. We've had, 2 or 3... We had 2 volumes out, haven't we, so far?
Yeah.
And she was in the first volume. Very, 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 very cool. What do you reckon in terms of a solo story? Will that work without Tennant?
I think it will, because I think Catherine is just... I think she's sort of made for this sort of thing, actually. I think she'll be great. I mean, the Big Finish are really loving the fact they've got the new series license, aren't they? They are really getting the most out of it. So I think it'll be a fun release. I think Catherine is good on audio, so I think it can work. I think she'll work okay on her own. I'm wondering where it'll fit as well. Wondering where this will fit in, in terms of her story, because obviously her mind gets wiped at one point, and there's a bit where the Doctor drops her off, and then he has Martha as a companion, and he picks her back up. And so I'm wondering where these are going to be set and all that sort of thing. I don't think it says, as far as I know. No, I expect we'll get more details as we get closer to it, but it sounds like a fun release. So there's 4 stories. We've got James Goss writing one, Jacqueline Rayner, names that we know, and they're normally pretty good. Matt Fitton as well has done one. So I think it could work. Yeah, it's called Kidnapped as well, which is quite cool.
Yeah,
Donna Noble, Kidnapped. So
yeah, I think it's going to be cool. And Catherine Tate made a quote for us while she was recording this over at Big Finish to say, it's lovely that Donna is in charge. The characters carry on developing and have a life on audio. You get a glimpse into the richness of what Donna did. It all adds to the tragedy that at the end Donna loses everything and it's all worse to be forgotten.
Oh, I see. Okay. I must admit that was so harsh, wasn't it? When she got the Doctor wiped her memory. That's so harsh, that scene. Not a bad price though. So it's $24.99 pre-order price for CD and $19.99 for download. I know that's pretty standard for Big Finish, but they have been, some of their sets have been creeping up around the 35 mark. So at least it's a fairly decent price, which is good.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good actually. So episode 1 is called Out of This World. Number 2 is called Spinvasion. Number 3, The Sorcerer of Albion. And number 4, The Chiswick Cuckoos. So nice and quirky. Exactly what you'd expect from a Donna Noble story. And when did we say? May 2020 at the moment. So
May 2020. And Rose just got has that come out yet? Rose is getting her own box set as well, isn't she? So that's quite cool that they're getting these little standalone sets. Can't remember if that's come out yet or coming out. I think it's not. I don't think it's out yet, is it?
No, I think that's September, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, possibly.
Rose Tyler, The Dimension Canon. That was it. September.
That's the one. September.
Yeah. Yes. And that'd be really cool because that's got Mark Benton in it. Come on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, Clive.
Clive.
Not Clyde. Clyde's Sarah Jane, isn't he? Clive. Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. So you know that I've pre-ordered this one because Clive's in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Stole your idea, but there we are.
There we go. So that's going to do for merch. Some cool bits there, minus the SDCC exclusive stuff. Moving on to our review. What have we got this week, bud?
Yeah, so 10th Doctor, 2-parter this week. So Human Nature and Family of Blood.
Martha, you trust me, don't you?
Of course I do.
Because it all depends on you. This watch is...
It's Monday, November 10th, 1913.
You make quite a team.
Don't we just?
Quite an eye for the pretty girl.
Because very soon, we will look so familiar.
Look, in the sky.
Help me!
You extraordinary man.
Wake up!
Completely human. Your friend or your lover? Your choice.
I've seen him. He's like fire and ice and rage. He's like the night and the storm and the heart of the sun. He's ancient and forever. He burns at the center of time and he can see the turn of the universe.
We are the family of blood. Attack!
What exactly do you do for him?
Run!
Save us.
I am not the Doctor.
Human Nature and the Family of Blood. Again, I just want to put a shout out to those trailers to that YouTube channel that I can never pronounce, which is called Veritissimus Trailers or something like that. If you do a search for it, even if you get the spelling slightly wrong, it will come up anyway. So I say that all the time when I use their trailers, but they're very, very cool. So go and check those out. So Human Nature was the first part. That was released at the end of May 2007. And then The Family of Blood, the second part, was out on the 2nd of June 2007. They were written by Paul Cornell, based on his novel, Human Nature. And they were directed by Charles Palmer. And it stars David Tennant and Freema Agyeman, with a fairly decent supporting cast in these ones, I think. Mm-hmm. And the story is the Doctor is being pursued by the Family of Blood. They want to kill him and extract his Time Lord energy so that they can carry on surviving, because they need that. Otherwise they die eventually. And in order to disguise himself, the Doctor and Martha land in a nice little village in the year 1913, and the Doctor essentially extracts all of his Time Lord self and places it into a little fob watch, and he himself turns human and takes on the name of John Smith. He gets the job at a school as a teacher, and Martha is there to kind of look out for him and make sure nothing happens to him. But obviously the plan doesn't go quite as expected, and he ends up falling in love with one of the is it one of the nurses or one of the teachers? Is she a nurse or a teacher? I can't remember at the school.
I've always thought she was a teacher, but then watching it again last night, I think she is a nurse, yeah.
She's one or the other, isn't she? Yeah. So he falls in love with her. Martha didn't expect this because the Doctor hasn't briefed her on, look, if I fall in love as a human, you need to do this. So she's completely doesn't know what's going on. The family end up there because the Doctor, one of the students at the Doctor's school, is a very kind of... I don't know whether to call him like psychic or he's got some kind of power, but he essentially is drawn to the Doctor's Time Lord power from the watch. He opens it. The family know that the Time Lord is there. They pursue. They attack a load of people. They take over their bodies. And then it all comes to a sort of culmination where the Doctor has to decide whether he wants to sacrifice himself, turn back into the Doctor and face them, or whether he hides away and follows his heart as a human with his new love. What's her name? Joan Redfern. Old Joan.
Nurse Joan.
Nurse Joan. I can't remember if she's a nurse or not. It's bugging me now. I'll find out. But
she is. I've just looked in the synopsis. She is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the two-parter blurb-ish, if I remember that correctly. And yeah, so this two-parter we've wanted to do this for ages. Give us your overview on this one, dude.
So I think this is a fantastic two-parter. I've always really enjoyed this one. I loved it on first watch when it I can't believe it's 2007. I just can't believe it's that long ago. I did wonder. I've watched it a few times over the years, but not recently, I wouldn't say. And I did wonder if it would stand up. You know, sometimes when you love a story, and then especially when you're watching it for review, because you sort of watch it for a critical eye rather than just something you enjoy. I did wonder if it would stand up as well as I remembered, or if it would sort of feel a bit dated now. But I think it stands up incredibly well. I think the production is great. The cast are great. The music is great. I was watching it last night, and I'm really pleased to say that it really stood up to how I remembered it. There wasn't any bit in it I thought, oh yeah, that wasn't as good, or, you know, I think it's an absolutely cracking two-parter, and I love the fact it was originally a Seventh Doctor and Bernice Summerfield book. because I was imagining if it was McCoy's Doctor in it, I was thinking, God, what if they'd done this back in the day? Like, I think McCoy would have been awesome in it because he was, this I assume would have been nearer his sort of end of his run when he's more manipulative, and I can just imagine him in it. But I think Tennant's phenomenal in it. It's such a good idea as well, such a clever concept, and a really sort of easy to follow concept as well. If I have one minor criticism, and it's something that bugged me then when it first was on, and it still bugs me now, is I do find, after such a quality all the way through this, I do find it annoys me, the conclusion where the Doctor does the clumsy pressing of the buttons and then the spaceship blows up. The story wraps up too quickly, and it's a silly thing. Like they wouldn't know, it's almost like a Clark Kent moment for me, of him sort of pretending to be clumsy and stupid, but he's somehow managed to press all the right buttons to make the ship explode. It's always bugged me as a resolution to the story. It's my only negative, really. And it bugged me again watching it last night. I'm just like, it's just a bit too silly and convenient, but that's a real minor bugbear that I have about this two-parter. I absolutely love it. I think the cast are absolutely fantastic in it. I just love it, mate. I really do think it's a great two-parter. What about you?
Yes, I agree. I echo your thoughts. I think this was. I do think this is one of the best, one of the best stories to come out of Series 3 for sure. It's it's got all the good ingredients really that make it a great watch, and absolutely one that you want to watch together as well. There are some stories where you can watch part 1 and you think, it's cool, I'll leave part 2 for later or tomorrow. But this one, it really makes you almost feel obliged to watch part 2 because it's such a great story and you really want to see what happens. It's a great character piece more than anything.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's but mind you, having said that, it does have, like I said, all the ingredients are there. So it has all of the cool sort of Time Lordy tech stuff with the what's it called, the chameleon arch that enables the biology change and stuff like that, which we see later on in Utopia, don't we, with the Master, yeah. So that all that stuff's there, and we've got the the forward vision to the young lad. What's his name?
Thomas?
Is it Tom or Tim? Is it Tim Latimer? The young lad who's like the psychic sort of guy, the little lad that can see.
Oh yeah,
into
his
the future.
real name's Thomas. Sorry, yeah, it's Tim, isn't it?
Tim, yeah. So he can see that he's gonna, or his friend, his friend, the school bully who he gets assigned with in the war gets killed, but then he managed to he averts that. So, and then you've got Martha who's going through the motions as, trying really hard. You can tell that she's trying really hard to just keep the Doctor on a straight path while they get through this, and then she can wake him up and do the off. But then the fob watch gets taken, and then and then you've got those awesome characters who are played by some great actors from the family. They're really cool. And then you've got just Tennant, who is completely on fire, but not as the Doctor. And then even when he is the Doctor at the end, he's just brilliant. Like that bit at the end we'll come on to, but it's just so good. So and then also a really good performance from Jessica Hines as well as Joan.
Yes.
She's very, very good.
Brilliant.
So it's got all like the sci-fi bits in there, like all the weapons, like all the sonic weapons that the family uses, and the possessed scarecrows. They have a really cool look to them.
They're brilliant. Yeah.
So I think everybody involved, like Paul Cornell, just wrote a brilliant script, great character piece. The production is great. All the weapons and the sci-fi stuff, the scarecrows, and then the conclusion, albeit a little bit quick, as you said, it's still very, very. It's just a great watch. All the ingredients are there.
It's certainly a brilliant watch, mate. And I love all the detail in it. Like you said, the fob watch idea is such a great idea to have it all, all his memories and that encased in that, and he just needs to open it to. It's such a great idea. The journalism of impossible things as well. I remember the first time I saw that, just thinking that is absolutely awesome because he just flicks through, so you only get a glimpse of what's in that book, but you see like all the other doctors in there, so it just brings that into it. You get a picture of Rose, the TARDIS. It all the way the story comes together as well, because there's the bit when they've got the family capture the TARDIS, don't they? And they're saying to the Doctor, come on, stop pretending you don't know who you are. And he doesn't recognize it. But then Joan says, but that was in your book. You do recognize it. And you start to then think, is the Doctor really, does he know who he is? Does he just not want to change back? Because, she's pointed out to him that he should recognize that box because he's drawn it. So there's so much going on in it. And the way all the strands come together throughout the whole story is so brilliantly written. And as I said, watching it again last night, it still packs such an emotional punch as well. There are bits in it that really, really, really touched, my heart. It's so, and again, this, I'm not criticizing Lucius and stuff, but it did sort of hammer home the message of war and kids being used to kill. And that scene when they're shooting the scarecrows and the Doctor's just stood there with a gun and he literally sort of almost can't move, can he? He can't bring himself to fire that gun. Yeah. But the kids are being forced to do, kids, war, it's all in there. The remembrance scene at the end, for me, it packs such an emotional punch, not to mention the fact the Doctor being forced to give up his what could be fantastic life. You get that, he gets to see what would happen if he didn't change back, married, kids, it looks so idyllic, and you sort of, he has to give that up. There is so much emotion in this two-parter, but it's done so well. It didn't feel forced, it didn't feel cheesy. It really does hit home for me. I honestly just was amazed. I knew I liked it, but when I finished watching this last night, I was amazed how great I really thought it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're obviously,
it's such a great two-parter in my opinion.
Yeah, we're obviously fans of this one, and we've also got that hilarious scene as well where the Doctor throws the cricket ball that saves the baby and stuff. It's and
I like to think that's a little throwback to the Fifth Doctor. I don't know if it is, but I just like to think that cricket thing's just a little throwback to the Fifth.
Possibly.
Again, tying him into being the same person. Just those little sort of strands, just tying it into the classic series without being too forced. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
it's like it's there if you know, but if you don't, then it's just
Yeah. So Fall to Doomsday. Is that what you mean when he throws it at the control switch? Is that what you mean?
Oh, actually, I was thinking. Well, I just meant in general, but actually, that's a good. No, it's a good point. Yeah, that sort of thing. Or Black Orchid when he's playing cricket. Yeah, just anything to do with cricket ball really makes you think of the Fifth Doctor. But there's humour in it as well, isn't there? Like you said, there's really nice moments in it. It's not even the bits that are emotional. That there's light, light and dark in the whole story. It's just a great watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, mate. Yeah, it's great stuff. Let's dig into some details. What did you think to the because I'm not going to say that the story diverges off into two bits, because it doesn't really, but we do have a bulk of the story that revolves around John Smith, not the Doctor, but John Smith, and he's obviously fallen for Joan. Yep. But we've also got Martha, who's playing the servant or the maid of the school. So we have all of that going on, and so like the socially acceptable behaviour of a maid or a cook or a servant, whatever, back then dictates that she shouldn't be spoken to unless she shouldn't speak up unless she's been spoken to, but because of the way that Martha is, she's quite forceful, and she yells at the Doctor a couple of times, and
she slaps him at one point as well. It's really funny. It's like, I'm going to snap you out of this.
Yes, they can't believe it. Who does she think she is? So you've got that thread running through the majority of it until obviously the family arrive and she manages to escape and stuff. But then you've also got this other part of the story, which you touched on earlier about sort of younger kids being used to fight and stuff like that, because at this school, they are being trained to use rifles and machine guns and so on. So you have this story where you've got the young lad Tim, who's like the little runt of the class. Like all the other lads are quite big and powerful, and then you have that story, and it kind of comes together at the end, I suppose. So what did you think to like those two? Because they are significant throughout the story, and they kind of intertwine around the family when they arrive. So but what just before you answer that, I did like the fact that, and as you said, there's a lot going on, but you never feel lost. You never feel like I have no idea what's going on here and what are they doing there and that sort of thing. But so did you think like the story narrative sort of went through pretty easily?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's funny because when you really break it down, there is an awful lot going on, but no, it's so well written that it's so easy to follow as well. There's at no point in this story where I think, what was that about, or what happened there, or no. And it's incredible actually when you do think about all the stuff that's in there. But no, I think the narrative is really clearly written. It's really well written, and I think it's a great story for Martha. I think it's a really good story for her because I know a lot of people might get a bit bugged by the fact that she does fawn after the Doctor a little bit, doesn't she? There's a few scenes where she's like, oh, he doesn't look at me, and he doesn't know how much I love him, and all that stuff. So there's a little bit of that Rose thing in there, which I know will annoy some people, but I don't think it's too bad. It honestly doesn't bug me in this story at all, because I think that she really cares. I think in terms of the situation that's going on, I think it works. I don't think it's too lovey-dovey sort of, oh, shut up, get on with it sort of thing. I think it does work in the context of the story, if you know what I mean, because I think if you put yourself in Martha's shoes, she's traveling with the Doctor. She's got a bit of a thing for him. He doesn't sort of notice, or he doesn't want to notice. But also she's then been handed this sort of responsibility, and you almost feel a bit sorry for her at the end when the Doctor's he's really cross with her, isn't he? He's like, like, what is your purpose? Like, what is the point of you, sort of thing? But so I think it's a really good story for Martha as well. I love the first scene when she goes to the barn and she goes into the TARDIS and she's watching the sort of instructions that the Doctor's left her. And, I just think it's a great scene, and I just think she's brilliant throughout the whole thing. I really do like Martha in this story.
She's strong. Yeah,
she's really strong. Yeah, and she's clever as well, because there's that scene when is it Mother of Mine, when she first gets taken over, that woman who's been Martha's friend, isn't she?
Yeah.
But Martha straight away picks up that there's something a bit odd about her, that she's like, and so she says, like, shall I put some gravy in the tea or something? And she's like, oh, that would be nice. And so she straight away picks up on it. She's a clever, well-written, well-rounded character, I think, especially in this story. So yeah, I just thought it was a good one for her as well. I mean, I think both of them really get to shine in this. David Tennant, great. Watching it again last night surprised me how he does play John Smith quite different. And in my mind, I didn't really pick up on that so much until I watched it again last night. It's not just the accent. He does actually feel like a different character. When he stands in the doorway at the end as the Doctor, he is different. And I really, really noticed that last night, in terms of the way he's playing the character.
Yeah, I think for me...
So it's a good one for both of them, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, that's that was one of the highlights of the entire story for me, is watching David Tennant play John Smith throughout, 90% of the story. And he's this is why he's such a good actor, because he could have played the entire series as John Smith. He could have really just put himself in that character, and it's like you said, it's not just the way he talks, but it's his mannerisms and the way he walks and stands and the way he interacts with people. He's completely different. And like you said, just that pose, just when he's standing in the doorway, I don't know, just the way he carries himself is completely different. And it's that real switch as well, where when he was John Smith, he's got a real caring, real lovable kind of nature about him. So when he's interacting with Joan, the two of them, you can tell they're in love. It's plain to see, but the way he is with her is very soft and caring, and would never do anything, even in words, to kind of upset her. But then when he's the Doctor, and she says something like, I can't remember exactly what she says, but like, she
would those children have died if you hadn't come? That bit.
I think it was more about their relationship. I think she said something. She says something like, was it ever you inside there, or something like that. And just the way he reacts to like real kind of cold, still face is like, no. He's just like very blunt and to the point, like the complete opposite to how John Smith was as he played John Smith. So that was a highlight for me. And that last bit where, I don't know, he just turns on the Doctor like at a drop of a hat. He's back into it, and that ending's really nice as well. Actually, when they go to the Poppy, when they go to the Memorial Day thing at the end, and they see little Tim as like an old age pensioner,
and he's still got the watch.
He's still got the watch, and he recognises them, doesn't he, from afar, and they've got their poppies on. It's a lovely, lovely ending. Really,
I absolutely adore that ending. I think it's so beautiful, and it just brings everything full circle. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
But just going back to Tennant for a second there, mate, I do have to agree 100%. It's I just never noticed before really quite how different he does play it. It is a testament to him as an actor. He really does. And it's not any major, it's subtleness in his performance, but it is definitely different. Like you said, that cold steel look when she says to him, so you picked this place on a whim. But if you hadn't, would these people have died? And he I don't think he answers, does he? But it's all there at his face, isn't it? It's it's the it's the dark side of the Doctor that he brings, and it's so contrast to the sort of happy, polite John Smith that's taking her to the dance and what a devil and all that sort of stuff. It's it's a very nice subtle change, but it's enough to really show the difference between two characters.
Yeah. So what did you think to the family then as a villain or a monster within Who? Do you think those guys were good?
Yeah, I did. I thought they were really good, actually. And it's a great idea to have these scarecrows as their sort of puppets as well, because they're really creepy, and I think they work perfectly in this story. But I think the family of blood are it's a great idea that they've got this limited life cycle, so they're chasing the Doctor to get to save themselves. So it's such a good idea, I think. But so Jeremy Baines, I suppose, is the first one to sort of step up in these. So Harry Lloyd, he's sort of I wouldn't say he's a nasty piece of work, but he's a bit of a scallywag anyway. But when he turns evil as is it Son of Mine, or is he Son of Mine?
Son of Mine,
yeah. I think he manages to switch characters quite well. That bit where he's like, "Shut up, stand up, desist," or whatever he says it really quick, and it's like, oh my, he's gone mad. But it's good. It's not like pantomime or over the top. It really, you just look at him and think, God, he's gone a bit deranged. So I think he gives a good performance as well. I find him quite creepy as Bane stroke Son of Mine. I've got to give a special mention to Sister of Mine as well, the girl with the balloon, because she's quite a young actress, but blimmin' heck, she's great. She's, again, really creepy, isn't she?
She's very creepy, like a Stephen King vibe to her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, with the red balloon. I think there's a bit... Does she kill the headmaster? Am I remembering that right?
Yeah, she shoots him.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remembered noting that there was a bit towards the end where she gives a great performance. She's so creepy, as Sister of Mine. So to be honest with you, that whole cast as well, the dad, the guy with the moustache, I don't know what his name was, the father of mine, I guess, that whole ensemble just work really well. They're really creepy when they're just plodding down the road with these scarecrows as well. It's great stuff. It really is creepy. Yeah, when they burst in the cliffhanger to episode 1 is brilliant. They just burst in that hall. They completely cause carnage. It's a great cliffhanger, and they really build the suspense. I think that assembled cast.
Yeah, and I think it's really cool that in a way we didn't see any crazy makeup or suits for aliens or anything. The fact that they inhabit these other human characters and then bring them together makes it even more creepy, because you've got these characters that you wouldn't necessarily see band together, like the little girl and the Martha's friend and the schoolboy. They're all very different. You wouldn't imagine them sort of coming together, but they do, because they speak telepathically and they all sort of linked in some way. It's a great invention. Really, really cool as aliens in Who. And like you said, I agree, the performances are very good. Harry Lloyd, I'm pretty sure he went on to play something in Game of Thrones. He was...
Did he?
Yeah, he was... what's her name? Who's one of the main characters? The Queen of Dragons, the main woman. What's her name?
I don't watch it.
Whatever her name is. He played her brother. He was in like the first few episodes of season 1. I think he pops up again later on. But yeah, so he's done fairly well for himself. He went on to play that. But his performance is particularly quirky in a way. Like he has this kind of weird facial expression where sort of half his face is smiling. And his eyebrows up, and you can. It's great that he didn't just, because the other people from the family, the other characters, they're not playing them that way. They're just playing them as if their human characters would say things and stuff. But he took it to another level because throughout the first story, the first episode, his character Jeremy Baines, the high school kid, he doesn't talk like that or look like that when he's in human form. But when he's taken over by Son of Mine, he's just, you can see the actors just gone nuts with it. And the director's like, keep doing it. Just whatever you're doing, it looks cool. Keep doing it. So
he's definitely grabbed the part, hasn't he, and gone with it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you think to little Timmy then? Because he plays a significant role. He's not the same as the other kids. You can tell he's different. I still can't. I read it somewhere ages ago about his power. They call it something. I think it's. I can't remember what it is, but it's like psychic power or some kind of. I don't know.
Extrasensory perception.
That
could be. I've just seen that on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay,
I haven't just plucked that out of thin air.
But he's cool though. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Thomas Sangster as Tim is perfect casting, absolutely perfect. So I always think of him as the kid in Love Actually. I always remember him from that. Yeah. But he's great because he's sort of got this strange little look. He does look like a little runt to be, without being cruel. He just fits that role perfectly because he's just got that look. But what a great little actor. What an absolutely brilliant actor he is. And I think he's one of these people, he's older than he looks because he looks about 16, 18. He looks quite young, doesn't he? And he's actually like, I think he's like 25, 30. In fact, he's probably, let me have a look. No. He's actually 29 now, so he was probably like 20 something then. But he's such a great little actor, I think. He plays the part perfectly. There is a scene I particularly loved when he's talking to the doctor at the end, and he says something like, I can't remember, the doctor asking a question, and he says something like, no, because I've seen what you are. The doctor is the fire. He is the ice, the whatever it is, the fire and the fury of the Time Lord. And I thought he just delivers that scene.
It's a great line, isn't it?
So I wish I'd written it down because I can't remember what he says. He's the fire and the
fire and the ice and
something about the fury of the Time Lord. I've seen the fury of the Time Lord, he says, doesn't he, or something? He just sums up Tennant's Doctor perfectly. The light and the dark that we get to see through his Doctor throughout his era. But just the way that he delivers that performance and everything else, to be honest, I just thought he was such good casting. The scene at the end in the war on the battlefield, all of that stuff, the nice little bit at the end with the Doctor when the Doctor gives him the watch, they have a little fun exchange between the two of them. Honestly, he's bang on. Such a great little performance from him. I thought he really stood out. But actually, to be fair, they don't all stand out because that doesn't make sense. But they are such a good cast in this. They all gel really well, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's a lovely little scene as well. And I like the fact that they didn't reschedule the shooting of that. The scene where the TARDIS is up on the hill,
and it's absolutely peeing down.
It's peeing down, yeah. So they didn't reschedule. They just did it in the rain. And the Doctor says to him, "You're going to love this bit." And gives him a little wink.
It's brilliant.
And then the TARDIS dematerializes, and it's just great little bits like that.
You'd probably think that was the end of the episode, wouldn't it? But then no, it cuts to the war land, the war, and him, Tim in the war, and then you're like, oh yeah, so we're doing this bit now, and then to follow that up with the memorial scene at the end, it's it's just one great. It's like three great endings to the episode, really.
Yeah. A lovely little touch as well when the Doctor tells Joan that his parents were Sydney and Verity.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I thought I'd forget, and I nearly did. That is a lovely touch. Again, just what a nice little moment for any sort of classic Who fans. Yeah, I loved that.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Paul Cornell just completely smashed this script and story. Like, absolutely nailed it all. It's so many good things in there.
It's a shame he hasn't come back to do any more. I know he sort of feels he's sort of done his Doctor Who stint, and I think he sort of wanted to move away from it a little bit. It's just so strong. It would have been nice if he'd done some more, I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. He's got a bit of a Russell T Davies train of thought on it, I think. Russell's the same. He feels like he's been there and done it. And I imagine both of them have been asked to come back on several occasions. I think, in fact, we know that Russell's been asked, but
loads of times,
But he's like, no, I've done all that. But yeah. Rightio, is there anything we want to mention before we get on to some scores?
Just that, I mean, I have said how good the cast were, but I think Jessica Hines deserves a special mention. She's absolutely perfect. The chemistry between her and David Tennant on screen is excellent. Absolutely excellent. And she really plays the part of when this was set, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? She's, there is this relationship between the two of them, but it's very much of that time. You know, the politeness, going to tea dances, the way they interact with each other is very much of that early 1930s. There's no sort of, there's a kiss, but there's none of this, none of this modern day behind the bike sheds type stuff is there. It's all it's all proper. It's all prim and proper, and she plays that incredibly well. She's again, really excellent casting for that part. She's very strong as well. The scene at the end where she sort of pulls the Doctor up on what's happened because he's arrived there and all that, she's superb performance from Jessica Hines in this. Yeah, no, I agree. She's very cool. And it's really, really lovely as well that they obviously knew that her character was sort of went down well with fans, because she actually plays Joan's granddaughter, I think, in the End of Time Part 2. So when Tennant's going off to do his little goodbye, when he says goodbye to some of the key people that he's interacted with, he sees she plays her granddaughter, doesn't she? And at the end, she knows immediately that who he is. And then she's like, "Was she happy?" Oh, it's so sad. Anyway, but before we get to the end, actually, there's something. I'm glad I didn't forget this, because I wanted to ask you something. So just quickly before I move on to this, firstly, I think Murray's music is excellent in this one. Murray Gold, superb score. But I want to ask you, the punishments the Doctor dishes out at the end, absolutely brilliant, but very dark.
Not the Doctor, really.
Even for the 10th Doctor, they are very harsh punishments. And I just wondered how you felt about that, because watching it again last night, I was like, wow, that's almost like Valiard territory. That's really dark stuff. Trapping someone in a mirror, putting poor old Baines is a scarecrow forever, watching over what's he do to the dad? Pushes him down.
He puts him inside. What is it?
It sort of drops him down. It looks like an elevator shaft, but it's not. Like chains him up, doesn't it? Internal chains.
Internal chains. That's it. Yeah.
And what happens to Mother of Mine?
He drops her at a collapsing star, like Event Horizon of a collapsing star. Yeah.
I mean, these are but the girl with the balloon trapped in the mirror, I think is absolutely brilliant. I mean, he says, if ever you look in the mirror and you think you've seen someone, that's her. How
dark, yeah.
Awesome is that? Because we all do that, don't we? We look in the mirror. It's such a good, that trapped in the mirror thing. It's just creepy. Genius.
Yeah, it's creepy as hell.
But very dark, even for the 10th Doctor. So I just want to know, what are your thoughts on that? Is that a little out of, because it does, I'm sure there are people that have deserved that the Doctor's met, that he doesn't go anywhere near dishing out that level of punishment to them. But do you think it's a bit over the top, or do you love it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of flip between having two minds about it, to be honest with you. I think it's I think that we just have these little events every now and then that just remind us that sometimes the Doctor can be ruthless, and he will sort of inflict, real harsh punishment. I think the other time that I felt it wasn't really the Doctor was in Oh, crikey. What was that Matt Smith episode? And David Bradley played like
the dinosaur one.
Dinosaurs on a spaceship. And he lets him go. He lets him go to his death at the end. So the Doctor is essentially killing the guy. And it's a similar vibe here, isn't it? And we've had it a couple of times elsewhere. But yeah, I kind of flip between it. In a way, it's great. It's cool because it reminds us, you don't beat with the Doctor. If you do that, then. But on the other hand, they do reinforce like the Doctor never uses guns. He never kills people. He's never. What was it? The Capaldi went through a phase of being a bit preachy about it and a bit like never cowardly, never something else. And so I kind of go between really, but I think it's cool. Don't be wrong. I think the punishments themselves are awesome and it's cool. But from the Doctor's standpoint, I don't know.
I love it, but I think the thing is it feels slightly harsh because although what the Family Blood have done is bad, I'm thinking, did they deserve that? Do you know what I mean? There are baddies that the Doctor's come up against, in previous stories or even stories after this where you think they deserved it, like they really deserved it. But I'm thinking, I don't know, did the Family of Blood really deserve that harsh punishment? Like, it feels a little harsh for what they did, but I do love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I do think it's great.
Yeah. And I think because of the nature of what they are, they do.
Yeah. They've got to be put away forever.
Yeah. They've got to be isolated in a way. So it's clever, but it's dark. Yeah.
It's real dark. Yeah. But it's good.
Yes. Right. Scores then. I think it's you to go first, buddy. I think.
Yeah. For once, I'm happy to go first because sometimes I'm a little conflicted with my score and I wait to see what you did. And like, this one is a 9 out of 10 for me. It's nearly a 10. It's nearly, it's just the conclusion. I just find the bit where the Doctor fumbles on the spaceships, which is a bit too quickly to wrap it up. And it just seems a bit too convenient. But I love it. I think it's a great two-part. 9 out of 10.
Nice one, buddy. I am going to go with a 4 point. No. I'm going to go in with a 9 as well. Yeah. So I've got a 9 written down here as well. In a very similar vein to what you were saying, it's almost perfect, isn't it? It's almost a 10, but there are just a few little niggly bits, like the ending, like you said.
I'm almost wondering if I should have gone to 9.5, but it's just, I don't know, 9 out of 10 just sounds about right for it. It's just so good.
Yeah.
But it's a couple of little bits, but yeah.
Yes. Yeah, really, really good. Like recommended for anyone that's not seen Who before and wants to watch a real cracking David Tennant story. And you want to, that's a good one actually, because if you want to savour some of the amazing stuff he does as the Doctor, you can suggest this one because he's only the Doctor at the end. So it sort of dangles the carrot for more David Tennant afterwards. So
that's true. Yeah.
Some good scores, dude. Rightio, our listeners also sent in some reviews. Let's kick off with Sammy Satine.
G'day, Gary and Adam. Sammy Satine here. So, Human Nature and the Family of Blood. You know that bit where John Smith throws the cricket ball and saves the baby from being squashed by a piano? I've been to that location. St Fagin's Museum of Welsh Life. Well worth a visit. Anyway, it's a brilliant two-parter. I find it interesting that John Smith says he learned to draw in a place called Gallifrey. Joan assumes it's Irish. It makes me wonder if the Time Lords had art classes at the Academy. Also, nice reference to Sidney Newman and Verity Lambert, John Smith's parents, Sidney and Verity. I must read the 7th Doctor novel this story is based on. Oh, and I didn't notice before, but the ode at the end at the service, it's recited from the same place in the text my late grandfather wanted it recited at all his RSL events. I give it 10 Time Lord watches out of 10. See ya.
Thank you very much, Sammy.
That's amazing. She's been to that location all the way from Oz to that location. Because I was thinking the whole time, I was thinking I'd like to go to that location. That's awesome. You've been there, Sammy.
That is very cool. Yes, a decent score as well from Sammy. Let's continue. Let's do Luke Malloy.
Hello, Gary and Adam. It's Luke from the Doctor Who Discussion podcast here, and thank God you've picked this belter of a story. This is a masterfully crafted 2 episodes. The Family of Blood are brilliant villains, especially Baines, but they've all got the nice little touches and brilliant lines throughout. The cliffhanger is brilliant. The bit with the cricket ball is brilliant. The whole story with John Smith is brilliant. And David Tennant gives his best performance of his tenure so far, even if most of it is as John Smith. This is such a good episode for him. And that moment when he changes from human to Time Lord without anybody realising is, it's just so good. How good is it? I thought it's quite interesting, the chameleon arch as a concept. I'd be interested to see if the Doctor could change into a Slitheen or a Nime and use the chameleon arch, but that is something purely for fan fiction. This is definitely a 10 out of 10. What an episode. This is the episode. And I also hope that I see you at Comic-Con. Thanks again.
10 out of 10.
Nice one. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
Yes, well, you'll definitely see Adam there anyway. You'll definitely see Adam. Yeah,
I got a feeling you'll be there. I'll be there.
Yeah, some great stuff there, Luke. Yes, and we'll have to check out your podcast. You did send me a link, so I'll jump on that. I haven't had a chance to listen to any podcast at all, so not just yours, but yes, we will check that out. So, yeah, Thank you very much.
Yeah,
peer review. We've got a first-time audio reviewer.
Oh, I love it when we get a newbie.
Yes.
Who's this then?
This is Blair Donnelly.
Hello, Gary and Adam. Blair from Ontario, Canada. I found your podcast about a year ago, and it is these 2 episodes that inspired me to send in my first audio post. This episode is outstanding. I love the idea of using the fob watch to hide in the past from your enemies, the backdrop of pre-World War I and knowing what's to come, the characters inhabited by the family, the eerie scarecrows, and Timothy's link to the fob watch all add for an exciting, well-paced 2-parter. I really like Martha in this episode. It's great to see her looking out for the Doctor, despite her treatment by him and the school staff. The Remembrance Day scene at the end of the episode is very touching and a nice tribute to all those that fought in the wars. Brought a tear to my eye. I know Martha and Series 3 can get a lot of flack at times, but this season has some amazing episodes. I remember watching this back in the day, 1 week at a time. As Blink follows this 2-parter, it was an amazing 3 weeks of television. There's so much more to say about these episodes, but I know I must keep my thoughts to under a minute. A definite 10 out of 10 Flanders Field poppies.
Another 10.
Another 10. Thank you, Blair. He's been listening for a year. He's what we call a lurker, isn't he? So he's been lurking, waiting to send that in. We love a lurker.
Indeed, yeah. Thank you so very much, Blair, and welcome aboard the TARDIS. Hopefully you'll send in some more audio clips, and I will be in Ontario. I'll be in Toronto in October, so might bump into you for a cheeky, geeky TARDIS coffee.
Hey.
And from new timers to old timers, welcome back, Alex Kingdom.
Hey.
Hello, Gary and I'm at the Big Blue Box podcast. How are you both doing? It's been a while. Sorry, I've been busy. I've got a job now, and I celebrate my 18th birthday and the college and stuff, and getting prepared for university. That's happening. There's my life update for you. This is a fun fact for me. This is the first 2-part that I like. So I really enjoyed this episode. I'm going to go into the only negative I have though, rather than go into the positive, because I know we're quite close for time here. So I'm gonna just go. I don't like Martha in this episode all that much. I don't like her plot. I guess her meat and usefulness of being there, because it makes no sense. She's the only thing that knows. She's the only person that knows who the Doctor is. But also, I feel like the Doctor didn't really think about it. I know it was a very close for time issue with him having to change into John Smith. But I feel like he would have a very bigger contingency plan if John Smith didn't want to become the Doctor. I get there was the whole he never thought he'd fall in love thing, but that doesn't work for me. I don't think the Doctor's all that stupid. I get that they write him in a way where him falling in love is it's a very weird thing for the Doctor, but I just think he's smarter than that. I don't really like that storyline. But the rest of it is fantastic, especially that end bit where he's, I guess, sentencing all the family of blood to... I don't want to say death, but continued pain, I will go with. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. But have a good rest of the show, guys, and have a good rest of your week. Keep up the good work.
Cheers, Alex. He's got a job now. Blimmin' jobs are getting away with everything.
I feel like we've watched Alex grow up over the past
His voice
few
gets
years.
deeper every time he sends an audio review, doesn't it?
Yeah, because when Alex was years ago, when he was in high school, before he had more adult responsibilities, he used to send us in an audio review every week without fail, and his squeaky little voice back then. And so it's great to see him grow up and going off to uni and having a job and stuff. So.
He'll be married with 3 kids by the next time he sends one in.
Thank you so much, Alex. It's great to still have you listening to the show and sending in reviews and stuff. So thank you to all of our audio reviewers this week, Sammy, Luke, Blair and Alex. Very much appreciated. Let's scooch through a few on the socials. Over on Twitter, we had Jack at Hooveneer. It says, I am not a fan of the 10th Doctor, but I did enjoy this story. It was very different to what we expect, but I couldn't help compare it to the book with the 7th Doctor, which I thought was better. I can only give it a 6.5, unfortunately.
Oh.
Neil Brighter Moon, an incredible bit of telly. I think this two-parter is likely Tennant at his best. He's just incredible, helped greatly by such a good story and an equally talented cast. I need to watch this again soon. 10 scarecrows out of 10.
Good stuff.
Our writer, Jordan Shortman, actually, we put one of his reviews out on the site this morning for Torchwood, one of the Reese? Kai Owen Reese, is it? Reese?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of his Torchwood stories. It's really, really cool. So check that out. But he says, I vividly remember this one live in 2007. I still think it's decent. I hadn't read the book then, but I now think it's a great adaptation. Jeremy Baines is terrifying and the scarecrows are surprisingly sinister. This was grown up Doctor Who and it worked brilliantly. Rob Kelly says, this is a fantastic story from a fantastic series. Really enjoy it. 5 stars. 4. 4 stars out of 5, sorry.
Oh.
Charlotte Stinson. Hi, Charlotte. She says, I think it's a great two-parter. It goes well with it being 2 parts, as sometimes two-parters have unnecessary scenes to pad it out. Freema and Tennant are excellent, although personally, Martha is, in general, can get a bit irritating when she always has eyes for the Doctor. The Theta Sigma podcast says, a brilliant story, excellently executed by all involved. That said, I'd still like to hear Big Finish do it as an audio with the 7th Doctor, for whom it was originally written for. And I've got just a couple more. Edward Giluli says, one of the very best episodes of New Who. I think being a 2-parter helps it as it allows the story to build. Excellent support characters, including Jessica Hines, and fantastic villains, a 9 out of 10. And lastly, where is she? I know she's here somewhere. Sarah, the running Whovian, says, brilliant 2-parter. Loved the concept and setting of this story and think it was very well delivered by all involved. The scarecrow's made for a creepy monster, but not quite as creepy as Baines and those eyes. A 9 out of 10.
Another 9 out of 10. Good stuff,
Yes.
Sarah.
We had a few over on Facebook. Rattle through these. Miles Mackenzie, a good solid story, if a little overrated in my humble opinion. I really like Martha in this one and was probably one of the best and unique narrative roles the companion has had in New Who. Tennant was amazing in this and managed to superbly portray 2 different people. Gives it a 7. Jeff Waddle, don't love this as much as everyone else seems to, maybe because I'd read the book originally, which is a wonderful story, and although there are parts of it taken from the book is a much better story.
I'd like to read the book, actually.
Yeah, I always wonder if stories seem much better than they are surrounded by bang average at best ones. That's not to say it's poor. There are still good enough bits to make it one of the best stories of the season. So 7 out of 10.
Fair enough.
I think I've got the book, I haven't read it yet.
You've got it, have you?
I'm just looking up on shelf. I have, I've got the book. I can see it. I just haven't read it yet. I'll have to read this later.
Because you love the 7th Doctor as well. I just think it's the same as me. And I'm just thinking, I bet he's really good. I bet it's really good.
Yeah. Joseph, I've skipped one. Sorry, where are we? Chloe Anderson says, such a good 2-parter. It's so different from any other with the Doctor being human. It is a stretch to compare it to whatever happened to Sarah Jane when Maria could only remember who Sarah Jane was. And that was she's the only one who could stop everything. Anyway, it was a really good episode. Joseph Howarth, such a superb 2-parter. One of the better stories from Series 3, which was otherwise a mixed series. But anyways, acting was brilliant, and it really does tackle the consequences of making the Doctor human. He gives it a 9. Very good. Charlie Turner, This podcast of mine, this two-parter is fantastic, possibly the best in Tennant's run. Either this one or Silence in the Library Forest of the Dead. I can't decide right now. Maybe I'll watch them back to back when the time comes and I'll decide. Goes on to give it a 10 out of 10. Dean Jones, a terrific story, excellent performances, great villains, brilliant set design, and some of Murray's best music. Goes on to give it a 9.5.
Yeah, good music, I agree.
And lastly, Lawrence Baxter. I remember watching this back in 2007 and being amazed. Watched it loads since, and 12 years later, it is still brilliantly written, acted, produced, and scored episode. The guest actors are superb, and David Tennant and Freema's performances make this feel like we're watching a golden age of Doctor Who.
Yes.
9 scary scarecrows out of 10. So really high scores as expected, I would say.
Yeah, all pretty high.
Yes. So that was Human Nature and the Family of Blood. Next week, it will be Sarah Jane. So what have we got then, dude?
Yeah, so next week, so this is an interesting title. The Mad Woman in the Attic is called.
Mad Bloody Woman.
Intriguing.
Yeah, so get your Sarah Jane Adventures DVDs out for that. Get them watched, as we'll be asking for your reviews as always. And, dude, I think we'll stick a pin in it there for 238.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much for sticking with our show and listening to episode 238. It's been wonderful having you on board as always. Some crikey little news and merchy bits that we went through earlier. Not really floating our boat, I'll be honest with you, some of the San Diego stuff. But if it does float your boat, then stick some pictures on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. We'll check them out if you are lucky enough to be there. Thank you so much for sending in your reviews and thoughts for our two-parter this week. Really high scores. It's a great one. Anyone that's not seen it, maybe there are some of you that haven't, then do certainly check it out. It's a great story. Next week, Sarah Jane Adventures, The Mad Woman in the Attic. Until then, make sure you subscribe to the show. Just do a search for the Big Blue Box podcast on your podcast app of choice that you use. And if you are like the show, like what you hear, and you've got 2 minutes, if you want to give us a review and a rating, that would be amazing, because that really helps us lots and lots. Also head over to the website www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our episodes on there, plus there are buttons to link off to the various social bits. We're on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. Just like us on there, and we chat plenty of Who and stuff during the week. Check out my co-host channel over on YouTube, The Geek's Handbag.
Yeah, The Geek's Handbag. Go and give it a sub and a like.
Sub and a like.
Watch some of the vids. Spend hours on them vids. Go and watch them.
Indeedy. Yes, loads and loads of cool vids from Adam over there.
Yeah.
A good way to lose a few hours is the best way to put that. And Adam is also on all of the social networks under the same name, so just do a search for The Geek's Handbag. Until next week for episode 239. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember,